All right. We are here live, guys. We're here to discuss the game from the women's basketball. I call it a strange win.
Yep.
Kind of different over Purdue, and then the second part of the show, or at the end anyway, we are going to do the scout on Penn State, which is January 1st of all time places. Two
Right?
p.m. Central, and it's on BTM Plus. I'm sorry, guys, for you BTM Plusers.
I know. I know. I
So
watch it. It's we need I know they use those wonderful college students to get them to do their broadcasting,
yeah.
it's
Oh
just
yeah, yeah.
aw.
And you notice that they use two young guys instead of throwing a female who might know what she's talking about.
Thank you, because I noticed that. I was just noticing kind of how they talk about the game. It's a little bit different than how a woman talks about the game. It just is.
Yeah, they
Mm.
should definitely use one of the women, but that's fine. That I'm not either in there or there,
No, 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 no.
but
We're
that does,
thankful for whatever we get.
yeah. But those guys do get their experience thanks to BTM Plus helping them out.
Yeah, it is. I mean, that's huge because that's going to take them somewhere.
Yeah,
They're going to have a future for sure.
yeah.
So
Okay. Well, all right. So let's get on. Oh well, let me do my. I forgot my little spiel first. I'm sorry. I was so
go for
excited
it,
to
go
get into
for
the
it. I
game. Yeah.
know, I know, I know.
Hey guys, if you haven't already subscribed, please hit that subscription button right now while you're there. Just smash it.
Yeah, I don't know where it
Okay.
is. Somewhere right there.
There you go. And then hit the like button. Just to like the content for today.
Click it,
Share it with everybody. Share it with everybody you know. And then
please.
just leave a comment afterwards. I mean, you can leave a comment live during the show, or you can leave a comment afterwards.
Hmm.
I will be back to comment on you guys later.
Yeah, we can answer them too if we miss it. Maybe we can answer it in another show or something.
Yeah, there we go. So
Hmm.
yeah, ask away, make a comment, correct us if you think we did something wrong.
Please, please.
We're open. We're not so hard
Mm.
headed that I think I even have a misspelling in here somewhere
Nah, it
on my
happens.
scroll here this morning.
It happens.
That's what I get up for getting up at 5:30 in the morning, and then
Okay, I'm a dyslexic English teacher, so that's fun.
oh my gosh, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm a bad speller and word pronunciation person because I hated English at a passion.
I'm so
I
sorry.
I skate. I got good grades at school, except I skated my way through English.
Hey, you do what you got to do.
All right, let's get on to the game then. I like I said at the beginning, I just thought it was kind of a strange game because
Yeah.
this is a game where I thought the four freshmen outplayed
Yes.
the senior starters and
Yeah.
even but Stokey held her own. She held
You
in
did.
with everybody. And I think we both decided that Lucy was a little bit of a disappointment yesterday.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't remember how many shots she took to get her
Get her
4 points.
6 or 7, I think. I don't know how many points. I looked, it said 4, but then somewhere else said 7. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing with the stats, but um I do know that I mean, like you said, you're looking at the minutes, like the difference in this game was, I was like, do you think they're listening? Because all of a sudden we've got your five starters that have been there, done that, and then in come the rookies. And I really feel like the rookies held the game yesterday.
They
I
did.
really do. I
Yeah.
I really do.
I thought when the starters were still in, I thought the game remained a little bit close and the freshmen came
Yes,
in, the four freshmen playing together, which is so exciting to see
love it.
because I texted you right away. I go, "Here's the future of Iowa women's
Yes,
basketball right
yes. And
here."
the crowd
For
was
the
excited.
uh,
And I mean, I was telling you like some of the things that they needed to do yesterday, and I think they did it. They needed to run the floor. We finally saw that with Stolke. You were like, there she goes. She's
yep,
back. She
yeah,
ran that lane like she needed to, and they got her the ball. And I
yep,
think Stremlo got her the ball. And I told you, I thought that she
yeah.
could do that.
Yeah, I think it was
Um,
Dremel got it to her.
yep,
Dremel also tried to get it to her another time, but I
yeah,
think a Purdue player jumped in front of it and knocked it
yep,
away.
yep. We did out rebound them 42-27.
Yeah,
So think about that. I mean, that's insane. We had 21 assists and they had 16. So again, and those assists were coming from those rookies.
Right.
They were killing it.
Yeah, and they had
Um,
they had 50 points, and I believe they were up 12 or 13 points at halftime, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah,
Okay,
yes.
and but what happened in the third? You know, I mean, they
We
got
hit that
hot
wall
late.
again.
They hit that wall again, and late in the third, they started to come alive again. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah. Because we're like, here we go again.
yeah,
Um, and I feel like maybe Jan needs to feel that happening and take a timeout. I think
hmm
she needs to take a timeout, feel it, know it's happening, take a timeout and pump them up. Do something. Be like, we're not doing this again.
yeah,
Like, this isn't going to continue to happen. We're going to have to change the way we're playing right now. You can feel it. There's a lull. What do you need me to do?
yeah.
I mean, throw in those rookies again, that 5 that you threw in there, and let them pump up the crowd and do something different when you feel like it's dropping.
Yeah,
You know
and
what I
that's
mean?
kind of what I was thinking too when they hit that wall, because I remember
Yeah.
texting you with about 5 minutes to go in the third quarter, and I go,
Mhm.
"We've only scored 5 points in the third
I,
quarter
I
so far."
know.
But then I looked at them, and they only scored 7.
So we got lucky, but I told you when you go against
Yeah.
somebody like a USC or UCLA, Oregon,
Oh yeah.
Minnesota, and
Yeah.
you have a lull like that, you're not going to get back out of it because they're
Yeah.
not going to let you out of it. So you can't do stuff like that. So and I know Jan, she'll start to feel it because
Mhm.
as an assistant, I'm in my assistant duty. Okay,
Mhm.
so I know what I'm doing as an assistant. I know what I'm watching. I might be watching the defense. I might be watching the offense. I might be watching rebounds, my post players,
Mhm.
timeouts, whatever. Right? It's the head coach who feels the game. And then you may have another assistant who's looking at whether or not the someone's tired or someone's injured or we need to get her out because of foul trouble, right?
Right.
So she has to do that transfer between that job of what she was doing to now that one that can you feel the game, like you
Mhm.
know what's going on.
Right.
So she's gonna get there. I mean, just because as a player, I know she did that as a player, so it'll come natural for her. Um,
Right. Right.
but yeah, I
I'm
mean,
just
I
concerned because we've got those upcoming big
big
games.
big games, big games,
As we'll talk about later, Penn State's a winnable game, but they could easily lose that game too.
and you can't.
You can't.
You
That's
just
one of those
can't.
teams that's a must win, because there are
Yes,
certain teams on this schedule that are going to be must wins, and they can't hit their walls like against UCLA, Maryland, USC. By
right.
the way, I don't know who in Michigan. I don't know who it was Michigan at USC last night, but I fell asleep and I don't know who won.
Dang it. I wish I would have seen that one, but I didn't see that one either. Darn
Yeah,
it.
I wanted to stay up for it, but I was getting really tired and my knee was going crazy, so I can't focus on anything when my
No,
knees
I
acting up.
know. And then you got I think it was South Carolina was on yesterday too, and I just couldn't watch it anymore. It got boring. I
What were
don't
they
know.
just running away with the team they were playing?
Yeah, it was just one of those things.
Uh,
Um oh, and then the big thing for Purdue.
mhm.
Purdue's post player got into foul trouble. That freshman, she got into foul trouble right away.
She did. She
And she
did.
couldn't get
But I
out of
could.
it.
Yeah, I just didn't remember if she sat on the bench a lot or if
She
she just
did.
was. Did she?
They kept trying to bring her back in, but as soon as they bring her back in, she get another foul
Uh huh.
or almost, and it was like she couldn't get into her groove because you could see like once she started going up and down the floor what she could possibly do,
hmm
and we would have had trouble if she wouldn't have been in foul trouble. Not as much, but like it would have been a different game.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Brad, what's up, guys? Brad is part of the Hawkaholics
Hey,
podcast, part
Brad.
of the same Villains Network that I'm a part of. But I owe Brad and his partner Brandon a lot for getting us on this network.
Ah,
I knew
thanks, Brad.
they had to go to bat for me, and I appreciate that, Brad. Thank you.
Oh, thanks, Brad.
USC 78, Michigan 58. Wow, wow.
What was that?
USC 78, Michigan 58.
Whoo!
Ouch!
We're in
Ouch!
trouble. We better
I know. That's what I
come.
was just thinking. USC
Whoo!
going to go undefeated?
Yeah, because I watched Michigan play. When I saw them play, I was like, oh God, that's a team there too. And I was like, oh no.
Yeah,
Wow.
Michigan,
Wow.
Michigan State. I mean, and there's teams, like we were talking about that are surprising. Like, where the heck did Minnesota at 13-1 come from? They
They're
just
sneaking
quietly
in.
put together
I
13
told you.
wins against
Yeah.
one loss.
Yeah. So when I'm looking at you were talking about one of the players, O'Grady. O'Grady had 12 points in 22 minutes.
Hmm.
So think about that. In 22 minutes, she had 12 points.
Yeah, I noticed that the way they were guarding her, that's the way she likes it. I mean, they
Yeah.
were kind of,
Yeah.
because all she had to do was catch the ball, turn around, and lay it in.
Yeah, there was no double team on her at all. So they weren't, because they couldn't, because they had foul trouble underneath. So there was
Hmm.
nothing they could do. And
Yeah.
Guyton got 20 minutes yesterday.
Yeah. Kelvin pointed that out. He sent me a text right after the game and said Guyton got 20 minutes. I go, well, good for her because
She
I
did.
mean, she made the most of it. I mean,
She got 20, she got 9 points, she got 2 assists. I mean, and it was a good game. Like, she took care of the ball.
mhm.
She wasn't losing the ball.
No, and one of the things I liked about her game, I know that she still likes to stand out there beside the 3-point line, and she's usually pretty good at it. I mean, she didn't fare as well yesterday up from the 3-point line.
Yeah.
But what I liked about it is she had a little confidence to drive in through the traffic and just lay one in.
Yeah, yes.
You
I mean,
know.
and right, and there even Stremlow was going in, getting that rebound. She got that offensive rebound and then just shot it right back up.
Yeah.
I was like, that is not an easy thing to do. And so she's going in doing that, and she had 19 minutes. Because you noticed how they were starting to kind of throw her in with
Hmm.
that the starting lineup.
Hmm.
She was in there with them for a minute. And then she had 4 rebounds and 2 assists. 4 rebounds,
I
two
think one of
assists, and
those
nine
assists
points.
was a down the court pass to Stokey.
Yes, and but it, people are thinking, oh, let's just look at points. So she got 9 points. Ooh, you know what? Like, it's not a very good game because you know how kids are these days. It's points, right?
Hmm.
No, it's what she did in her presence on the court
Yeah.
and
I,
defensively.
yeah.
She was causing some turnovers.
Right. Well, I believe O'Grady got 12 points. I think 5 or 6 people got 9 points, and then you
Yes.
had Mulaney with 8. I mean, that's why I said it was strange because there wasn't any dominance in the scoreboard at all.
No, it was very well rounded, which you like. You like,
Hmm.
okay. But and then Sid, I'm proud of Sid.
Hmm.
24 minutes, Sid.
Hmm.
I'm loving it. She had 7 rebounds, 6 assists, and 9 points.
Yeah.
She was a few off of getting a double double.
Right. Yes.
And I love that for Sid.
Well, I love her. I love her tenacity and her toughness.
Hmm.
That's what when she came in for Molly Davis as a starter last year, she
Yes.
brought something different that Molly didn't bring, and all of a sudden she's rebounding and she's able to get in there and with traffic because Molly just had to teardrop those floaters in when she was in
Hmm.
traffic because
Hmm.
she wasn't able to go one on one with them. And
Right.
so she brought something different, and I think that's part of the reason why they made it as far as they did
Oh,
last
I
year.
do too. I do too. Because
Not to take away from Molly because
no.
I love Molly Davis.
Oh, absolutely. Totally love Molly Davis, but you've got also it's a different presence on defense too with Sid compared to
Hmm.
Molly. I
Right,
mean,
and
because they could just post Molly up. I mean, now
mhm.
she held her own, but like, what are you gonna do if you got a 6 foot girl on you posting you up, But
Yeah.
yeah.
Kelvin points out that he thought the ball movement improved with Guyton and Strimlow in the half court. Is that what you saw too? Did you see some better ball movement?
Yes, yes, they were actually they'd move the ball across the top of the key, and then they would cut through and talk. I mean, they were driving and dishing out. So I mean, they were just playing ball, you know. And then you had Mulaney come in and hitting like a step back 3-pointer. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, they just it's a presence that's different for freshmen, this group. Like, it's just this, I got this and I know what I'm gonna do, and you can't stop me. And you can't teach that.
Mm-mm.
So to have that
Yeah.
in four freshmen it's invaluable. Like, it's priceless. So I really can't wait to see. But like I said, I
Yeah.
just get scared for them coming up against these other these
Yeah.
like dominating giants, that are coming in.
Yeah. I'm gonna run the villains
Commercial.
commercial real quick.
Yep.
Brad, this one's for you, buddy. This is what I was referring to earlier. Okay.
Yeah.
So I noticed that my logo is not yet there. Brad, if you're listening, could you work on getting my logo in that little intro there? Anyhow, so where were we? Because I know I had to get that in there, so I didn't want to forget. So I forget what we were talking about. Okay, so all righty.
We're done
I
with
think
Purdue.
are we done with Purdue?
You think we're done with Purdue? I mean, I think we are. I mean, okay, let's just throw it out there.
Okay.
Jan changed it. She's going with oh my gosh, who was the coach at Iowa? He went in 5 at a time, 5 at a time, 5 at a time, 5 at a time. He didn't care what time was on the clock, and he would
Tom
throw, was it
Davis?
Davis? Tom Davis, yes.
Yeah.
He
Hmm.
used to drive me nuts with that. I'm like, no, they're doing so well, but he would just stick to it. I don't think she's gonna do that, but I
Hmm.
think she's trying to develop a diff like Coach Stringer did it. Coach Stringer
Hmm.
did it my senior year. Okay.
Hmm.
We had 6 of the top recruits in from the nation. And it was us starters that had been doing it for a while. And then we'd be killing it. And in come these freshmen. And the other team's going, this is what I got to go against now. It's almost like that's what Jan's doing with this freshman group, trying to keep them together, trying to get them to you know have their own flow because
Yeah,
it
I believe.
changes the game.
Yeah, I believe she mentioned it in her press conference yesterday
Did she? Did she?
that she's trying to get them live, meaningful action minutes or something like that. I don't have the exact quote, but
No, that's
basically
good.
because she knows that she's going to need them in those tougher games, and her scout report that she had must have thought, there's no way we're going to lose to Purdue. And that
Right.
that she had the confidence in these girls and the confidence
Right.
in herself to make that call to play as many. This is probably most
Right.
extended minutes that these freshmen have had all
Right. And
year.
she's right. They need that because you can't just go, okay, now that we're in we're in the tournament time and now we've got them some tournament minutes and then they'll be
Mhm,
ready for next year. It doesn't
mhm.
work like that anymore.
No, no.
Because of the transfer portal, because of these other girls coming in. These girls, you got to give them minutes so they stay,
Mhm,
one,
yeah,
right? And they understand that they are the future. So you got to give them the confidence, and I think they proved it to everybody. I think they proved it to the crowd. The crowd was excited. They loved it when they were in there. The crowd was up and screaming and yelling. I mean,
mhm.
I I think they proved it, and she got them ready. I mean, they were ready. They
Yeah,
were ready.
definitely, definitely. So, oh, I had a thought here. Just give me a second to
My
reform my
bad.
brain. At my age, sometimes my thoughts leave my brain faster than they come out. But
I know, me too.
all
Wait,
right.
what was I doing? I think I told you I was going to go wash the dishes and I ended up just making myself coffee.
Well, I watched 90 Days before the 90 Days with my wife. She loves that show, so I sit down and watch it with her. Um, okay. All right. So what I was thinking,
Mhm.
um, oh, I don't know where I was going with that. Let's
Penn
just move
State,
on to
maybe?
Penn State. Yeah, let's just move on to Penn State. Oh, I
Okay.
know what I wanted to do. Let's back up. I
There you go.
wanted to know when we did our scout yesterday. You did your
Yeah.
scouting report.
Yeah.
How much of you wanted to compare your version of the scout to what actually happened on the floor. How close and accurate do you think you were on the your
Um,
scout?
well, I did say the big difference maker would be the bench.
You did that.
Thanks
We
for
all.
that, Jan. I mean, I don't know. Maybe we're on the same brainwaves or something, but I was like, the bench, it would be the difference maker.
Mhm.
And then to keep the turnovers below a certain amount, which they did, both teams kept their turnovers low.
I thought Iowa had like 16.
Yep, 16, and I think they had 15. I think it was less than we had. Free throw percentage, I mean, we had to have it up, but it is what it is. And then that first shot, make one shot only, and getting the rebound. I
Mhm.
don't think that Purdue had many second chances after they missed a shot, and we ran the floor. So I said we needed to run the floor. We need to play Iowa basketball. I think we did all of that.
Right. Yeah, we did. And one of the people you wanted to see that was get Stokey out there running and feeding her the ball, and you thought she'd be her best that way.
And she did.
That did happen.
Yep. I think if Sulky can understand too that when she's at the top of the key and the guard gets the rebound, that if she can take herself out wide and then
Mhm.
cut back into the basket,
Mhm.
because she'll run straight down the floor, right?
Right.
But she's so fast that if she gets herself out wide, no one's gonna know she's out there,
Mhm.
and it's an easy layup. They can hit her for an easy layup on the backside of the defense, because the defense is when you're right next to, so she's running down the middle of the floor. You got two or three players that are right there. It's easy to guard you. So if she gets out wide and comes in,
Mhm.
she'll be scoring like because she's so dang fast.
All right.
But
Okay.
maybe
All right.
that'll get out there. Somebody will let Jan know that. Maybe I don't know.
All right. Well, let's get out. Let's move on to Penn State. They're currently
Okay.
9-4, 0-2 in the Big Ten, 14th place in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
They lost to Minnesota by 46 points the other night.
Mm-hmm.
And like we said, Minnesota's going to be scary now. Thought too, unless of
Yep.
course Purdue's that bad. But if they're that
Well,
bad, then I wish we would have beat Purdue by more.
same. And then Indiana, they lost. They lost to Indiana by 15.
Hmm. Yeah, I got that here. Indiana by 15. They lost to Kansas by 3.
Yep. At
Uh,
Kansas. At
yeah,
Kansas now.
at Kansas. Yeah,
That's a different atmosphere.
yeah.
Um,
They lost to St. John's by 5, 72-67.
yeah, their
No,
schedule hasn't been that strong though.
no, and I looked at that.
I was
Everything
like, who
before
are
that
these
they had
teams?
one Power 4 team. They beat Georgia.
Yeah, I was like, I'm
I
like,
don't know how good
who?
Georgia is. How good are they in women's basketball? You're
My,
there.
my now, come on, Katie Abrahamson, Katie Abe, get them up, come on, girl. Um, they're holding on. I mean, they need. She needs. She's. I think she's still in that recruiting,
Mhm.
keeping players in Georgia. But they're not as strong. I mean, I watched them play. They're just not as strong as they have been in the past. But if you look at Penn State, okay, Penn State's averages 74 points. Iowa
Mhm.
averages 75 points. So,
Yeah.
and my fear is, and I told you this before we came on, is they
Mhm.
have Grace Merkel, who's a 6'6" post player, who has now gone into her 16th, 17th, 18th double double. Um, and she averages 18 points and 9 rebounds, and she's 6'6".
Right. 18
So
points, 9 rebounds, 2
yeah,
block shots.
averages.
Yeah,
So
averages 2 block shots. Yes.
you see how Stokey and O'Grady turn sometimes and get themselves, in trouble when it comes to, so they're
Mhm.
gonna have to pull her out probably and face her up and drive to the basket.
Yeah.
Um, on the other side of it though, they're short after that. Like you're looking at 5'8", 5'8", 6', 6'2". So they got one big girl and then guards.
Yeah.
But
But
they
you
turn the
saw how
ball
well
over
we but you saw how well we did against the 6'6" girl from South Carolina last year. With
last year.
Didn't we get in a lot of foul trouble?
We did, but again, last year.
Yeah, okay. That's behind us, right? We learned something this year.
Yeah, it's a little bit different. I mean, it's just different. It just
It might be
is.
different with Stokey coming playing from the
The
4
4.
on this one.
Pull her
And
out. Yeah, like get
yeah,
her out of they just need to pull her out. They need to keep running that swing offense that they run.
yeah,
Get the big girl out of the lane.
yeah,
Depends
yeah,
on what defense Penn State decides to run. I mean, if they run a zone and keep her in the middle, I mean, dang. But you can pull her up high then too. So you can pull that player up high, that 6'6" girl up high, and expose her.
right.
They can
Okay.
expose her defensively. So you've got Gabby Elliott too, who had 19 points against Minnesota. She's coming in as a grad student. I
Who
think
is she from? Where was she
she
originally? Do you
came
know?
from somewhere. I think one of them came from Notre Dame. One of them came from somewhere else, which is crazy because there's a couple. So you got Allie Campbell, a grad student, Gabby Elliott, a grad student, Jada Oden, a senior. I remember her from last year, Oden. And she averages 9 points. She has a total of 23 steals. She's only 5'8" though, but she plays bigger. I remember her. She plays a lot bigger than she is. Odin.
Mm, okay.
I
You talking
totally
about
remember
Gabby
her.
Elliott? You talking about Gabby Elliott?
No, Jalen Jaden
Oh,
or
Odin.
Jalen
Okay.
Odin. She's a
Odin. Yeah.
senior. But Gabby Elliott and Odin average the same amount, same points, right? So they both
Mhm.
have 9 points. But
Mhm.
Elliott just went off on Minnesota and scored 19. So
Yeah.
Elliott did that.
Yeah. Elliott's averaging almost 5 assists a game. It looks
Yeah.
like.
But then they turned
Uh,
the ball over. So they turned the ball over 24 times against Minnesota. I told you, when you do that, you can't win. When you're over 15 turnovers, it's hard to
mhm.
win.
Yeah. Do you know, did Minnesota press them? Is that part of the
I
reason?
have no idea.
Because
Zero
now I'm getting
idea.
scared of Minnesota because I had that
Stop
in
it, I know.
I had that in my must-win column.
It
Hopefully,
is a
it's in
must
Iowa
win.
City. Hopefully, we meet them in. Hopefully, I would say we meet all the important teams in Iowa City, but we
I
won't.
know, but it is a must win. It is. Penn State's a must win.
Penn,
Minnesota, Indiana,
hmm
Michigan. They're must wins. Like you
yeah,
have
because
to.
you don't know what's going to happen against Ohio State, Maryland,
Ohio
US.
State, Illinois. Come on now.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, they're all going to be tough. They're all going to be tough.
yeah, it's almost like what's happening to Big Ten women's basketball. It's turning into Big Ten football.
I know it.
Like
My gosh, look how deep they are. 7 or 8 people are ranked right now.
it is. It is very. It's a great. It's a great conference. I mean, but when you move over teams from the West Coast, which is insane.
Yeah,
Whoever
not
thought West Coast teams would be Big Ten?
yeah. Well, yeah, that's true. I mean, but to see USC and UCLA on top of the Big Ten is not surprising because we knew when the merger happened that
Yeah,
they would be there because of what they are. What's surprising is seeing Washington and Oregon in the bottom half of the league
yeah,
because when you think of Oregon
yeah.
and Washington, you think of big time football for these
Right.
schools, so you think their basketball programs would be on par.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Like it's yeah. I mean, it all blows my mind. Like I have to go. Okay, everything's changing. It's not like it was.
Yeah.
You
So there
know.
was a podcast I listened to last night, right after the Purdue game. His name is Corey, and he always comes on with Kenise. I can't think of her last name, but a former Iowa player who had a taste of the WNBA.
Okay.
Okay. But I don't like her takes, but she's very, I don't know. I think sometimes she's way off base, but
Okay.
she said last night that she felt that Iowa was no better than a ninth place team in the Big Ten, and she might be right with all those teams. It depends on how we do against the rest of the schedule. I mean, it's a long season, yet we're only 2 games into 18 games.
Right. And they like to prove people wrong, and I and I'm like, you can keep saying things like that, but as an ex
Mhm.
Iowa Hawkeye, I mean, I guess if I wanted to state it, maybe that being an I mean, but okay, so who are we looking at's above us? USC, UCLA, who uh I mean,
Maryland,
those are huh? Okay,
Maryland's like
Maryland.
number three
Maryland's
in the
coming
league
back
right
up.
now. Yeah,
Okay,
Ohio State's
Maryland.
like right there.
Okay. No.
So
I would say maybe 6th, 7th. I'm
that's
looking
why
at
I was kind of looking at 6th or 7th, and like I told you
mhm.
yesterday, if we finish there, I would be ecstatic. I mean, because
But I agree. Did she said this after this game?
yes,
So
yes,
did she see the freshman playing
yes,
or did she fall asleep on that one?
she did. But she just but she's like you and I. She said they hit that wall. They hit that wall. They can't hit that wall. They
Okay.
continue to hit that wall, then they're going to finish in 9th place.
Well, they won't continue to hit that wall because I guarantee Jan will do something about it. Their assistants will do something about it and
Hmm.
just throw those freshmen in and see what happens.
Right.
Because they are I mean, Stremlo plays with a love of the game that I haven't seen in a long time. That girl is constantly smiling. She is having so much fun out there.
Right.
And you can't take that from somebody when they're on the
Hmm.
floor. And it's
Right.
contagious. So to say that those girls are going to go up against they're going to get mad. They're going to get tired of it and they're going to be like, "Look, we can still play basketball." That's talent. There's talent out there. Like to say that talent, I mean, I don't people irritate me sometimes.
Yeah. Let me take one more quick
Go
break.
take your break. I'll breathe while you take your break.
All right.
I'm
Yeah. We're getting
gonna
all
have to
the
listen to this former Iowa Hawkeye.
yeah. Yeah,
I'm gonna have to.
I will tell you what, after the next game I will send you well actually what I'll do is I'll send you the link from last night's episode so you can hear exactly why she was being a little rougher than I thought she could be on the show.
Okay, so let's see. They got Big Ten has. Well, I hope that this is us. Yeah, women's basketball. Wow.
What do you
They
got?
got Ohio State above UCLA. Really?
Really?
Okay. Anyway, then they got Maryland, USC, Indiana, Minnesota. There they are, like you said.
Right.
Illinois is above Iowa
Yeah.
in the Big Ten standing.
Okay.
What Big Ten has them standing as?
Yeah. Right.
Okay. That's the Big Ten. That's
So
wow.
I think, I think Iowa until they go out and prove that they deserve the respect, they're not going to get the respect that they got the last 2 seasons with
But it's
Caitlin Clark
always
on the
been that
team. But
way.
everybody thinks as soon as Caitlin Clark left, we were going to fall off.
Yep.
Guess what? They said the same thing when Megan Gustafson left the
Yep.
team. Was there any fall off? No. Iowa
Nope.
achieved more. They achieved more after she left.
So what did they say at the beginning of last year when they started when Caitlin had a bad game and then they ended up losing or getting close to losing and they said the only player that is good is Caitlin Clark and without Caitlin Clark doing what Caitlin Clark does, Iowa's not going to do anything.
Right. And that
So
was,
what
I
happened?
believe, that was the first. That was the Kansas State loss last year.
Yes,
I think that they ended up meeting Kansas
a-
State 2 or 3 times last
they
year.
did, yes. And they lost, didn't they lose to them at Iowa?
Yes, at home.
Yeah, that was a heartbreaking loss, right?
Yeah, it was a
So they lost
heartbreaking
to 'em
loss.
at Iowa, and then that is when the rest of those players said, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah, I think they met them in a tournament later that
Mhm.
season, and they beat them. And I don't know if they came to visit Carver Hawkeye in the Sweet 16, not Sweet 16. The first round where they hosted the first 2 games at home. I don't remember who was at home, but
I don't either. I don't either.
I don't either. We
We
won
get
those
old.
games, and to
We
me,
get
it's
old.
so important that Iowa this year do enough to be a top 16 team, so they're at home because the top four seeds in each bracket host home games, and to me that's important because I don't want them to be a road game on the first 2 rounds.
I agree because it's tough. I mean, we've had to do it, and it's just tough. It's better to be at home.
Yeah,
But my thing too is like, I don't understand how, I don't know, if you're a former Hawkeye, how you, I mean, I know you need to be realistic, but
Hmm.
like, I'm going to be on the positive side of my team. I just am. I mean, it's
Yeah,
just,
right.
I bleed black and gold. Like, you can't, like,
Hmm.
I'm like, and I'm going to get feisty on you if you start talking bad about my team. I just am.
Yeah, let's find.
Even
Yeah,
if it might be true, I'm sorry. Like, they're still going to fight.
yeah. We just need to find the positives, and Jan needs to find what works for her and the positives
They will.
on the floor. Play away from the negatives, the weaknesses that show up on the ground.
Yep.
When I
Yep.
was coaching soccer all those years, I played my players to their strength and
Yep.
played them away from their weaknesses, and who can do what, and we won. We won because
Yeah.
I didn't put my players in a position, that I knew would, win.
Yeah.
So,
And she may have been playing these girls together the whole entire time in practice,
right.
going against that starting five, and I guarantee that's what's been going on. So she's been playing these freshmen and, against the starting five in practice.
Hmm.
And now in practice, I guarantee those freshmen are standing up and probably beating them at times.
I
So
bet
when
they are.
you're yeah, and when you're beating that starting five, then I know that I can put you up against any other starting five that's out there and you guys are going to perform because they're also gamers. So
Right.
think about it. That's in practice. You get under those bright lights and all those people in front of you. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
They're gamers.
Yeah. Well,
So
Strimlo did say in the post game last night that they do practice that way,
I knew it.
and you know, I
It
mean,
is
I,
because
I
we've
thought it
been
was like,
taught
okay,
right.
you must have listened to the after her interview
No, I
afterwards.
haven't listened to any of it.
You
We've
know.
been taught right, like, and it's the way it's been done in Iowa forever. It's the way it's been done in Iowa basketball across the state. If you have a good coach, if you have a coach
Mhm,
that coaches the way you need to be coached, and you have a team in high school, Columbus
mhm,
goes to state. How many? I mean, my team went every single year, right? Jan Jensen's teams went. I mean, then she's been coached by Bluter. I mean,
mhm,
we know what it takes in practice. You play against a gray team, which is an all boy team.
mhm.
Okay. And then they are lucky enough to have this group that's in there. Now they can scrimmage against each other and make each other better. And it's
Right,
just what you do. Like, that's why you recruit who you recruit. It's not always somebody they just sit on the bench and don't play in the game. I've also recruited that person because I know they're going to make my team better.
right.
They're going to make my starter better.
Yeah.
Um,
So and speaking of sitting on the bench, I get wondering about
I know.
Jada
I
and
know.
uh, the other one.
I
Help
feel
me
so
out here,
bad for
AJ.
them. Ugh,
AJ and because they both are juniors.
and they've
And
been
so
through it.
they've been through it, and it's just like, they did bring AJ in for a while. She's a center,
And then
and it's just
Jada
like,
hit a 2-pointer.
yeah, I don't know if they're happy with their role or if they just wish they could play more. I'm sure they wish they could play more. I shouldn't say that.
Yeah,
What they're
because
thinking,
gosh, it's a
you
happy medium. It's hard. That's a hard position because I've been in all of those positions. I've been a
know.
starter. I've been sitting on the bench. I've been injured. Played all the time. I played two
But
minutes.
but did you
It's
watch? I mean, like, you played for 3 years, and with the team, and you're not getting a lot of playing time except mop up duty, and all of a sudden these freshmen come in and they're getting the minutes that you were hoping to have. Like,
yeah,
Ava Hayden gets minutes
yeah,
before AJ does. And
yeah,
they're both centers.
yeah. And you recruited them in too, by the way. Like
Yeah, you recruited them, yeah. And
yeah,
then, then the final one, is she's still a freshman, but is Callie Levine, still only sees mop up duty time, and
that's weird, right? I wonder what's
and they
up there.
recruited her, and she's not a bad ball player, but she must not be near as good as the other four,
Yeah,
you
I
know.
mean, it's
But I'm
yeah, and it
afraid, I don't want to see her
leave.
leave. Yeah, like she looks at the end of this year and looking, oh my God, look what we got coming in this next year, and
Yeah.
look what we have right here with the class I came in. I want to play, and so do I think about leaving because we got
Well,
like Addie Deal coming in next year. I
right,
mean,
right. The real deal. So, I mean, sometimes though, with like Jada and them, it may be also what they're doing in school. Like they like what they're doing in school and they like Iowa. Because you have to understand, like, as women, before all this money
Hmm.
now that everybody's making, we had to go to a school that was going to give us what we wanted to do when we're done with basketball. So
Yeah,
she
right.
may really love what she's doing in school. She likes the publicity she's getting, through TikTok and whatever, and her relationship that she's got with Caitlin and Gabby and all of
Hmm.
them still,
Right. Oh yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
I
why
was
leave
surprised to
that?
see that she was their best buddies.
Right? And that just
Them.
happens. Like it's crazy, but like you don't leave that. Like, and I think there's always been this loyalty thing with Iowa where there hasn't been that loyalty thing before.
Hmm.
But I do think they are fearful, and I think they understand there's a happy medium. There's something you have to there's a fine line you can go with these freshmen
Yeah,
that are good. You better keep them happy
yeah,
or
yeah.
they can
Jada
go now.
said that she wants to be a teacher when she's done, and
Ooh,
Jada has said she wants to be a teacher.
she'd be a great teacher.
She would be, but she'd also be good. Um, because she hosts her own podcast, right? I don't know if you've ever seen any of her podcasts.
Yeah, they're hilarious.
Yeah, they're hilarious. But I think she'd be good at doing something in the media too, like
Yeah.
being an analyst, on
On
the
the
sideline.
sideline, she'd be a great sideline analyst because
Yeah.
she's beautiful. She's absolutely gorgeous, so she'd be
Mhm.
great for that,
Mhm.
because you have to have, I mean, you have to have a certain face. I'm just saying, if they
Yeah.
like it, I could see her on the football sideline too, you
Yeah.
know,
And
right?
are you saying that in order to men to accept the women on the sidelines, they have to have a certain look?
It's a little bit easier for the head coach to stop. When you got who was it, Ohio State, he hates stopping and talking to Holly. Like he stops and he's like, oh my god, like what are you gonna ask me, like, and you see him on the sideline, he's like, well, what do you think, like, we need to throw more passes and catch them, like, he's like, and he goes into but if you've got somebody nice to look at, just saying.
Yeah.
No, but she's very good. She's good at what she does. All jokes aside, totally joking.
Mhm.
But yeah, she's I think she's got something in that. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
This
she and AJ sure have a lot of fans on TikTok, and so
yeah. So, but yeah, this Penn State game is another one of those. And where do they have Penn State? Way down there, I guarantee it. Big Ten.
think
Where
they're like 14th.
yep.
14th?
Yep. And then Rutgers, Northwestern, Purdue. Purdue is at the bottom, like bottom.
Yeah, I thought somebody was below them, but maybe not.
No, they just dropped to the very bottom. And then it's
Oh,
Northwestern, Rutgers, Penn State, Oregon, Washington, Wisconsin, Nebraska, Michigan State, still below Iowa, which is crazy. Um, but yeah, so it's ooh,
there
ooh,
we go. Jada could host Good Morning America. Wow.
yeah.
If she does that, she will have arrived.
She could be on the View.
I don't know. I don't watch The View, so I
I
wouldn't watch
know.
it. I'm not real happy with those takes on
No,
The View.
no, no. I have a lot more fun doing this.
Oh, this is so much fun. I
It
appreciate
is.
you doing this
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
But you're gonna still help me get Molly Davis on. I don't know how you're gonna do it, but we got to get her on.
Okay, we'll try to figure something out.
All
But
right.
yeah, so I'm gonna go with the starting five for Penn State. We'll see where they were at. I don't even know what happened with Purdue. Purdue, it was like, who are these players? Like it was weird.
Well, yeah. They
I
said at the
thought that was
beginning that
weird.
they had a lot of people.
It was weird. It was weird. What are they saying? Is somebody commenting something?
Yeah, Kelvin saying Jada wouldn't be on a Fox channel. I don't know why that would be. Does that mean she's a staunch Democrat?
I mean, come on, right?
I have no idea.
How do we know these things?
Yeah.
But
Oh,
dude,
Kelvin knows. Kelvin
tell
knows.
Calvin
Trust
he's
me.
got to stop his research and he stop getting down those wormholes, Calvin.
Oh,
Um,
Kelvin doesn't even research. He just hears it and he remembers it.
Calvin, that's awesome. Um,
He's been a good resource for my podcast. He
love
really
it.
has.
So we've got Gracie Merkel. Okay, I'm worried about 6'6" Gracie Merkel.
Okay.
You got Mariah Murray, who's averaging 14 points and is currently 100% from the free throw line. So we
I
know
see
who
that.
not
So
to
how many
foul.
times has she been to the free throw line?
Jesus, I mean and she's a freshman. Like we know who not to foul.
Hmm.
Jada Odin, whatever, Odin Senior.
Hmm.
I remember her. She's got 23 steals, and but she's 5'8". Gabby Elliott was the one who scored 19 against Minnesota, 5'10", and she's a grad student. You got Allie Campbell, who's 6 foot grad student, and then Gracie Hall, who's a 6'2" junior. And so yeah.
So you got the first six.
Yep,
You got
those
the
first
first.
six. I'm not sure who she'll start. I mean, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm not sure who she'll start. But you did notice, if you look at their stats, those ones that come off the bench, they're hitting some threes, so they can come in and hit a three if needed, which that's always deadly.
Yeah. I believe Kelvin is enjoying this because we're starting to do research on the team, because he did text me and suggested that we're really good together, but wanted to see you do a little more research.
I got it. Tell him I have time now because I'm on break, Calvin.
Yeah.
But I'll make sure. Look, Calvin, I'll make sure I do that just for you, and then I'll bring in some interesting facts because I love doing that.
Yeah.
Because that's fun. Because I got some inside stuff that like maybe nobody knows, or maybe some little tidbits about like what happened to us when we went to Penn State to play them. Like I can do stuff like
I
that.
can even remember some recent Iowa teams not faring well at Penn State.
Ugh.
It's like, why? They're not even that good.
It's just
Average
where
at
it's
best.
at. It's
Huh?
not easy to get there. It is not an easy trip.
I've never traveled there, so I can't tell you that I know that.
And every time we would go, there'd be a snowstorm. I mean, it's not easy to get there. So,
So you guys are exhausted by the time the bus driver gets you
yes,
there.
yes, and then you got to play the game. But it's a different atmosphere too. Like when you walk into Penn State's arena, I don't know if it's still the same one because you know how they redo everything, but it's just a different feel.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, Calvin says this stuff is on no other podcast. He thanks you for that. Which is good. Calvin, make sure that you share this, that they're getting stuff that no other podcast is going to show them.
Oh yeah, because you can't get the inside from a coach and a player at the same time. I've been coached by the best. I've been so lucky. I mean, to be
You've been coached by the best. You played with the best. You played
yeah,
against the
I'm
best.
so lucky, so lucky. And I was a sponge. I was a sponge when I was a player. And as a coach, I mean, you're always learning. To think that you're the best that you can be is absolutely insane. Like I'm always learning from everyone. Any information I can get, I love it. So it's fun too to like do it where now I know what it feels like to be on the bench. I know what it feels like to be on the floor, and I know what it feels like to be on the sideline. So to bring that insight into this is I'm just lucky. I'm blessed to be able to have had all of this for sure.
Yeah. I appreciate that, and someday I hope that we can use your knowledge and your contacts, your
I know, right?
inside people, and bring them on the show. And
I'll
this
get 'em,
show would
man.
really blow up if we could do that.
Yeah, I'll try.
Okay.
I'll see what I can do.
Okay.
It's just they get so busy.
Okay, so Lori Duggan, thank you, Lori, for commenting. She's a first-time commenter on this show. Jan said in her post-game conference that this freshman class is something special. She sees it. Yes, we all see it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to couple that with next year's class, wow. I mean, maybe this class, maybe our seniors go out, and don't perform as well as we have, but with next year's class and this year's class, maybe we start to build on something really strong, and Jan doesn't miss out on some of those 5 stars that she's been chasing and losing out on.
Right, because like in McCabe, I mean, think about McCabe, where she's going to end up. Like McCabe they're just like on that edge of like
I feel so bad for McCabe. But she's got to hit those threes when she's out there. She's their 3-point specialist, and honestly, if she's missing as many as she was yesterday, she's going to see her minutes diminish. And, but if she starts hitting them hot like she did the one game, I think she hit 5 3-pointers.
Yeah,
she's going to be on the floor. She's going to stay on the floor. Jan's not going to give up her hot shooting.
Yeah. But the problem is like where you've got a Mulaney who's doing the same thing at 6 foot, 6'1".
Right.
You got
Hmm.
McCabe coming in at 5'9".
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, that's
Hmm.
difficult. Like, that's
Right. Yeah.
it's a different presence. So McCabe really has to find her leadership. She needs to be a leader. She can be. She's gonna be a quiet leader, but she's got to figure it out. I want her to figure it out.
I do
Not like
too.
she's got to. I just really want it for her.
I do too.
There's a difference. You know, some people are like, "Oh, she's got to do better." No, 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 that's not what I mean. I want her to do better because I know she can do it. That's the
We
difference.
we know that, and she just has to believe in herself, right?
Yep,
Confidence.
exactly. Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this has been a fun show. Leading
Now
up
we'll see
to
what's gonna happen.
in about an hour and a half, kickoff for the Music City Bowl,
Right?
and hang on for one more thing here. I know that a lot of our listeners or watchers will be viewing that game.
Yeah. At least they're not in the Pop Tart Bowl.
Oh, did you know that right after Penn State we have Maryland?
Woo.
We got Maryland coming in, and then we go to Illinois right
So you
behind
so you
that.
want you want me to go ahead and scout old Brenda Freeze's team?
There you go. Might as well have it ready to go.
You know, since I blocked her shot, we'll see if I can block her game.
There you go. Boy, that would be fun. Wouldn't it be fun to have Brenda on and talk about that?
I'm gonna entice her to get on here by start talking trash, and she'll come on. She'll be like, "I'm gonna subscribe to that just so I can say something."
There you go. Yeah, I wonder if she would do it.
Well, I mean, she had to friend me on Facebook just so she could say that I did not block her shot. So maybe we'll see.
Yeah, yeah. And guys, the men's have a basketball game against New Hampshire, I think, tonight.
Uh,
It's maybe an hour or an hour and a half to 2 hours after the basketball game. That should be an easy win for the men
should be.
before they go back full force into Big Ten play.
That's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, I'm not as excited for the men this year as I am the women, and I think that kind of shows all over the place when you
It
think
does.
about it.
It
All
does.
and it shows in the Carver Hawkeye when they're not near as full.
Yeah.
Um, People just don't seem excited, and I don't know if it's because of Fran or if it's just because of I don't know what, or because we underachieved those years. Because let's face it, when we had Luca and the Murray twins and
Yes.
Wiseman, I mean whatever,
Yes.
we underachieved those years. Jordan
Yes.
Bohannon, we underachieved. We did not achieve what we should have achieved with those years.
No, for
And now
real.
people are thinking, well, we don't have that kind of talent anymore on the team, so we're
Now
not
what?
gonna we're not gonna achieve what we should achieve.
I
But
know.
maybe they'll surprise us in the long run, and the team with no superstars on this team will go further than any team with the superstars did.
Maybe ask Calvin when's the last time the men's team like made it anywhere close to the Final Four.
I know. Everybody knows that. Okay, they made the Final Four in 1980. Okay,
Jeez.
that's the last time they made the Final Four. All right, and I know that because I was
1980.
in. Yeah, I got my wife and I. Because we had to go to this marriage counseling class before you could get married.
Okay, yes, 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 yes.
Okay, and so we were in that counseling class, and and everybody's trying to figure out what the score of the Iowa Georgetown game is, right? So finally, before we have a lunch break, and nobody can still get it because we're not allowed to have anything in there to distract. And so we start our second session, and the priest gets up there and he just whispers in the microphone, "Iowa just beat Georgetown, Final Four."
Oh, that's so great. But
Yeah,
1980?
yeah. So that was Final Four. Tom Davis did make the Sweet 16
Yes,
in
yes, I know that.
his last year, and Tom Davis's first year, I think it was his first year, they made the Elite Eight. So,
Yeah.
and of course, they blew that game against Las Vegas to make the Final Four. They had that one like 20 some odd points ahead, and they couldn't hold the lead and lost
Yes.
the game.
Yes. Oh, I know. But it just seems a long time, you
Yeah.
know?
Calvin puts on here, of course, Lisa never made a Sweet 16 until her 16th year. Hey, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Isn't this friend's 16th year? I
But
don't know.
it's
I don't
okay.
think Fran's been around 16 years. I doubt he's been around that long. But
Yeah,
maybe he has.
yeah. I get it. I totally get it. It's just yeah. I mean, trust me. I mean, we were the first one of the first Final Four teams in what was that 30 years or something when they went back again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So nothing against anything. It's just a different energy. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Even
Well,
on even on
not
even on
only did
TV.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I used to watch Kansas play all the time.
Hmm.
The men's team. I would just
Right.
watch them because I love watching that. I'd watch Duke. I love watching the game. And it's I go watching, I'm like, it's just not as interesting anymore. Like, what's going on?
Right. I think the game is changing. I think the other thing is the transfer portal changes the game because
I
you no
agree.
longer have these people here for 2 to 4
I
years.
agree.
That
Yeah, you
to
don't even
find
know
out
who's on the
these
floor
people are.
anymore.
Hmm?
You don't even know who's on the floor anymore because you're like, wait a minute. I thought so and so played for them. Now they play for, you know, North Carolina.
Yeah, and it does take a little bit of luck, and Calvin's right about that. I mean,
A lot.
you know, Iowa making the championship game last year, they had to have a fluke foul moving screen call on, was it Paige
Gosh.
Deckers?
Right? I mean, yeah.
you know, otherwise Connecticut probably wins that game.
Yeah.
But that
Oh
was a
yeah.
fun game. That was a great game.
All right, Gabby killed it. I'm sorry, but she was killing it defensively.
Oh, she was. She was. And people will always complain about Gabby. She's not scored enough. She's not scored enough. Are you
Gabby's
watching the game? Are
amazing.
you watching what she's
Golly.
doing out there? Without Gabby, they don't make the championship game last
Seriously,
year.
without her defense and the things that she did quietly
Yeah.
and loudly, they would have never made it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That girl was on top of it for me. I'm sorry. And the junk she took because of, the calls. That was not okay. Like people need to stop being so mean.
Right.
Like get over yourselves. Get out from behind your screen and go shoot some baskets and see what happens.
Yeah. Oh, Calvin says we almost lost at home in the second round twice. Oh,
Yeah.
almost. We also did lose one to Creighton in Caitlin's sophomore
Yeah.
year. Caitlin was
Yeah.
not going to allow that to happen anymore.
No. Yeah.
and the girl who transferred out because of Caitlin being at Iowa
Yeah.
took over Creighton and she just literally destroyed Iowa.
Yeah. Yeah. Like don't do stuff like that. Like you got to be careful. Because revenge is the best medicine when it comes to that. They're like, I'm gonna get you back by beating you.
Yeah. Unless she just went and she showed Jan, she goes, "Hey, I outplayed your
Well,
superstar today."
yeah, your entire team. So thanks for not playing me so I could transfer and beat you. I mean,
That's
but
true. That's true. Okay. Well, I think this is a good place to end it.
I agree.
So don't forget to watch the men's game tonight. The women will play on January 1st, and Molly and I will discuss when we actually do that post game because I know she's busy on the 1st. So,
Yep.
um, other than that, we'll get out of here and see you guys next time.
Yep. Thanks, guys. It was fun.
Bye.
Bye.